Hello. Right, so Beardy Cook back again in the kitchen. One of the things I'm missing these days, what with everything, is takeaways. So I'm going to be doing some takeaways for you. I've got a pack of chicken and I'm going to do 3 dishes. I'm going to be doing a Mexican fajitas, chicken curry, and a chicken and sweet corn soup. All of these are nice and easy to prepare. 2 of them can go in the oven at the same time. I'm using 1 pack of chicken thighs that cost me £1.70, so they're nice and cheap as well. So, on with the show. Right, so what I've got is a pack of chicken thighs from Morrison's. As you can see, £1.70. You normally get 5 or 6 thighs. I've got 6 in here, so what I'm going to do is I've got 3 dishes set up. Do that. The 2 big ones are going to be for the meat. So I'm going to build the actual dishes in the pots, and then I've got just a little one for the bones. What I'm going to do is roast those, make stock, and then turn the stock into a soup. Dead simple. So, start with the chicken thigh. And then what you want to do is rip the skin off. Just get your... You'll soon find a place to put your thumb in. Wiggle it about. Tear the skin off. Now, if they're not too hairy, what you can do is a bit of salt, bit of oil, put them in the oven, 180. Lovely, tasty, crispy little snack. So, what I'm going to do now is bone this quickly. So you just run your knife underneath. Like that. Doesn't matter if you leave a bit of meat on the bone, you're making soup with it too. Every extra little bit of flavour helps. You can feel where it's hard. Just run your knife down there. Turn it around for a better angle. So, bone out in the pot. Chicken thigh done. If you're slimming and you want to take a bit of this fat off, dead easy. Just scrape with your knife till there's no meat there, and then just chop. Done. So I'm going to do the other 6 and I'll come back and see you on the other side. Right, so this is what I've ended up with. I've got 2 pots with chicken in and 1 pot with bones in. So, bones first. Nice and simple. Just give them a good pinch of salt and pepper. And then I'm just going to put those in the oven for about 20 minutes, half an hour. The oven's preheated to 180, so they'll go in. When they come out, boil them up, make some stock, and we'll turn it into a chicken and sweet corn soup. So with these 2, this one's going to be fajitas, this one's going to be your chicken curry. So again, season with salt and pepper. Now, first one is going to be the fajitas, so I'm using the smoky Cajun seasoning from Schwartz. The supermarkets do some pretty good ones. The Morrison one is pretty good. They're not overly expensive as well, and you do get quite a lot of use out of them. So, cover it with the spice, and then everybody's favourite, bit of squeezy lemon juice. If you've got limes hanging about, lime juice is just as good. What you're doing is you're basically starting to cook the chicken a little bit with the acid. So just give that a good scrunch up. And then it's just cover it in cling film and leave that to marinate. Good couple of hours. I'm doing this at lunchtime and I'll be eating tonight. So that's that one done. Quick wash hands. I always keep a pot of soapy water hand when I'm doing this. So for the curry one, I'll be using, after a quick dig in the cupboard there, Madras powder. I find this in the Indian section of Tesco. Absolutely love it. Again, it's not overly expensive, £1.50, and you don't use overly much of it, so it's not one of these things you're going to buy and never use again, if I can get into it. And again, same thing, just sprinkle on good blob of the spice. Good shake of lemon juice. And that's that. So that just gets sat under a bit of cling film to marinate, take in all those beautiful flavours, and then what we'll do is assemble the rest of the dish in the dish and pop them in the oven. They should take about the same time to cook. Because I'm using chicken thighs, you can't really overcook chicken thighs, which is why I like them. They don't dry out like breasts. And as you've seen, they're a lot cheaper, and you get the bone with it, so bonus meal. Right, so the bones are nearly done, so they're in the oven. What I'm going to do is make the base for the soup, so I'm going to start with half an onion. Just going to quickly dice this up. The other half will be going in with the fajitas in just a couple of minutes. So let's do that, 390 degrees, and then that's that diced. And slightly manky looking carrot. So just shave that quickly. And then all I'm going to do with this is grate it. Box grater, and then just rub it up and down. So I've got a pan on a medium heat on the hob, splash of oil, just getting it warm. Don't forget, always put food into either a hot pan or a hot oven. Preheating is always your friend, it stops stuff going soggy and horrible. Right, so that's that done. So I'm going to pop these in the pan, stir them about until they start to brown, a little bit of seasoning, and then we'll stick the bones in some water in. Right, so we've got carrot and the onion in the saucepan, that's sizzling away nicely, just started to soften and turn brown, so ideal time for a bit of salt, and I'll put the pepper in just a wee whiley, because of course is my famous 200 pepper grinder. So these are the bones that I've just taken out of the oven, nice and roasted, so what I'm going to do is just use the tongs to try and lever these out. Just stick them in the pan. And of course these bones have been seasoned already, so go easy on the salt in the soup. Stir up. And then all I'm going to do is add 2 pints of water using my Liberated from the local pub glass. One. And 2. So I'm just going to bring that to the boil. And let it boil away for a good hour or so, just bubbling away. And then that'll taste lovely. Then all we'll do is run it through a sieve, thicken it down, taste it. If it needs some more chicken stock, add a stock cube, add some sweet corn, and that should be us done. Okay, so here we go. Soup's been on the hob now for about an hour. Reduced down a little bit. All the meat's starting to come away from the bones. Just had a taste. Added a little bit of salt because I thought it needed it. But the flavour's good, so we're just going to strain it quickly. This is where it all goes horribly wrong. So, just let all the flavour drip out of there. Give it a good sugar. And then just put that back on the heat. And add some sweet corn. About half one of those tins, or a whole one of the smaller ones. Just give that a little stir up. Now for that authentic Chinese flavour, just going to add a little dribble of this toasted sesame oil. And then I'll show you a quick trick with an egg. So, don't need much, it's quite a strong flavour. Give it a good stir up. And then, important, always have a taste. Yep, so flavour's good. I'm just going to beat an egg, chop a spring onion, and that'll be good. Right, so what I've got now is some beaten egg in a glass, or in a mug even. So I'm just going to give this a quick stir, and then just slowly pour that in. And then just give it a stir like so. And just help feather it out. And then that's ready to go. Just top with some chopped spring onions. There you have it. First dish done. And there you go. Chicken and sweet corn soup, a little bit of spring onion on top, ready to go. Beautiful. Right, so carrying on, this is going to be the chicken fajita mix. So this has got the Cajun spice in and some lemon juice. We're just going to add now the other half of the onion we didn't use for the soup. Peel that quickly. So I'm just going to slice these. Try and get them quite fine. And then crunch and scatter into there. And then half a pepper. So stalk out, finger in, rip the guts out, take any extra pith out. Now I'm only going to use half of this, the other half is going to go into the curry. So because it's fajitas, makes a nice long bits, like so, again nice and fine, and then just scatter into the mix. And again with the top of it. Just some extra little bits there. And because I like it quite spicy, I'm going to add just a hint of chilli. What I'm going to do is got one of these big chilies, so I'm going to use half in the curry, half in the fajitas here. So half to one side, and then just quickly slice it up. If you don't like it as spicy, of course you don't have to add the chilli. So get that into there. And then apparently hands, just give that a quick toss through. Now that on its own is good to go. If you want to add a little bit more flavour and you can get hold of some chipotle paste in there is really, really good. A little touch of smoked paprika. Although if you've got the Cajun spice in there, you don't really need it. It's just one of those things I like to do. What I'm going to do for serving is make some quick flatbreads. I'll come to those in a minute. And then just serve it with this lettuce here. So nice and simple. Put that to one side. Wash hands. Dry hands. And now to the curry. So this has been marinating in the curry spice and lemon juice. And again, we're just going to chop up chilli, throw that in there. and some lumps of pepper. What I'm going to do here, make the slices of pepper slightly chunkier, because I don't want a big string of pepper hanging off my fork. Next I'm going to put some onion in there. Just want one of these little boys here. So take the top off, slice through the root, peel it back, and again just peel the paper off, discard, and then I'm not dicing it. What I'm just going to do is the same as we did with the pepper, make it little lumps if you like. So, same with this half. Next ingredient I'm going to put in is going to be some garlic. I'm going to try and slice that quite thin. And then it's just a tin of coconut milk. Give it a stir, and that's us pretty much done. And of course, this is one of those things you can add anything to. If you want to add some tomatoes, tin of tomatoes, that's always good. Get some fresh herbs in there right at the end of cooking. There's no point adding them at the beginning. Some coriander goes really well. I'm just going to serve it quite basically with rice. If you're a fan, I know some people aren't, but get some sultanas, raisins, even a bit of banana in there. Not the weirdest thing. Right, tin of coconut milk. I went out to the co-op earlier to buy one. I wish I hadn't, it was quite expensive. But if you look in the Indian Carabini section at the supermarket, you can get these a lot cheaper. So just slip that in there. In there, that one comes out. It might look a bit of a mess, but it's just because the coconut milk's separated. Once it's stirred up, it'll be absolutely fine. So let's grab my wooden spoon. Give this really good stir through, and you can see the colour starting to come off the spice now. If you really like the coconut flavour and you like it a bit more mild, you can add a good sprinkling of desiccated coconuts, and garam masala wouldn't go amiss here. But this is just a nice basic curry. This is going to cook slightly longer than the fajitas. And what I'm going to do is just put these in a preheated oven, about 180, 200. Right, beautiful. So that's that done. So what I'll do is I'll stick these in the oven, and then I'll show you how I make the flatbreads. Right, so flatbreads for the fajitas, dead easy to make. You're just going to stick some flour in a bowl. This is plain flour. I've got about a mug's worth in there. Quickly season that. Bit of salt. And a good whack of pepper. I'm just going to add enough water to make a dough. Now, because there's no yeast in here, you don't need to worry about warm water or sugar or anything else. Just stick that in there. Give that a good stir. Wait for that to come together. Now, if you've got some corn flour or semolina flour, that will go well in here, give it a nice texture. You can add loads of other herbs. You can add some yogurt instead of water and do kind of a naan bread thing for the curry. So that's coming together, so I'm just going to wipe it around, clean the bowl. What I did with the naan breads last week, I used flour, yogurt, and then added a good handful of desiccated coconut to make a kind of Peshwari style coconut naan bread. That was really good actually. Nice and simple. Doesn't take over much kneading. So what I've got there is enough for about 2 flatbreads. So if you want more, make more. Not hard. So just give that enough of a knead until it goes smooth. If you think it's a bit sticky, which I think that is slightly, add a little dust of flour. If you think it's too dry and it's not holding together, add a touch more water. Nice thing is we're starting to get flour back in the shops now. We got a huge bag from B&M's or Home Bargains. 20 kilos I think it was. Bloody huge, I couldn't believe it. Right, so that's now. And all I'm going to do to cook these is roll it out nice and thin, and then dry frying pan, very hot hob, and just give it a little 2 minutes on each side until it starts to bubble and starts to change colour, and that's pretty much it. So I'll come back once the Fajita mix is done. I'll show you how I'm going to assemble that. With the curry, all I'm going to do is serve that with rice. So I'll show you when it comes out of the oven, and I'm sure you can imagine what it looks like with rice. So I'll see you in about 25-30 minutes. Right, so these are the flatbreads I'm making. What I've done is just taken a blob about that big and rolled it out until it's nice and thin. Don't forget to just knock the flour off. And then I've got a pan on the heat that's about as hot as I can get it. So I'm just going to pop that on. So when you're rolling out, just give it a little flick over and then try and get it as thin as possible. This is just plain flour. It shouldn't rise up too much. You want it quite soft so you can make a nice chickeny wrap with it. So there we go, nice and thin. Give it a little extra hand stretch as well. Just knock the flour off, and that's ready to go into the pan as well. So over to the pan. So that one has just gone in. Already you can see it's just starting to bubble up. I'll give that a quick flick over. You can see that's starting to cook nicely. So got myself a plate out, and I can start stacking these up. What's going on in the oven? We've got a lot of steam. So the curry's there. That's starting to cook up nicely. Now this is the chicken fajita mix. What I did was I threw in the rest of the tin of sweet corn from the soup earlier, and added a little bit of chipotle paste because I like it. So that's ready. The curry's going to stay in. I'm just going to give it a quick stir. That's still quite runny. Smells great. So I'm just going to leave that about another 20 minutes just to reduce down and thicken up. Make sure everything's cooked in there. It's uncovered, so that'll go for 40 minutes in total. And that took 20. So this is the bread. It's started to puff up. Just starting to turn golden on the underside. So give that another 30 seconds and that'll be done. So that's just how quick these go, and you can see that actually now. Look at that, starting to puff up. Beautiful. So time to get that off, that's cooked. And next one goes on. Straighten that out. Give it little tappy fingers, and that should start to bubble up pretty much straight away. So I'll show you how I'm going to serve these. Right, so that's the wraps done. What you can see is I've put the two wraps together. So each person's got two each. Got about a quarter of the mixture on there on each wrap. Shredded some lettuce up, chuck that on top. Now would be a good time to add anything like grated cheese, a little spoonful of yogurt wouldn't go amiss, or sour cream. If you've got any herbs, anything like parsley, coriander, basil, that would go down a treat. Right, so there you have it. That's the curry out of the oven. You can see from the line around the pan where it's reduced down. So that's nice and thick now. So I'm actually going to have this tomorrow because I am stuffed. What I'll do is I'll just put some rice on, quickly cooked in stock. Maybe do some little Peshwari naans for it. And that's me. So that's your 3 takeaways from a £1.70 pack of chicken. So thanks for joining me once again, Beardy Cook here on YouTube. Don't forget you can like, subscribe, get involved over at the Beardy Cook Facebook page. But once again, thanks for watching. Keep cooking.